from last year who graduated from the Bachelor's of Architecture Design course, and I might ask them, like, what aspects of design education have enabled them to be industry ready, and which aspects have enabled them to be successful, and then look at that correlation between the things that we were doing in studios and university with them, which have actually helped them become successful industry practitioners. And then I might choose a range of participants for this. Let's say, for example, I might choose a fresh graduate from QUT. I might choose a graduate who has been in design practice but is not registered architect and has 2 years of experience. And then the third person could be a newly registered architect who has about 3 years of experience in the industry, and then somebody who is registered architect and has 5 years of experience, and then interview 4 of those and analyze their data and look at the perceptions and correlations between aspects of design education and design studios, and aspects that from the design education that have helped them become successful in practice over time. Then the fourth question that I thought, or the topic that I thought of, was compare students from last year that studied a face-to-face studio that all of you are studying online now. So the fourth year from last year, and asking them to think about the impact or the variations in users' perceptions. How does this impact students' willingness for being industry ready? So it could also be this comparison of, like, the same course that you are studying, and now you're studying it like online, whereas the students in the past year studied it face to face, right? So what changed, what in the process of this transition from face to face to online, what aspects have changed? And when you look at the perceptions of, like, the students from last year, they might tell you about, like, pros and cons of, like, their own face-to-face online study experiences, and you might have your own like, pros and cons or experiences of studying online, and thinking about what aspects would then help you in the future. So now we're going to move on to a group activity, in which what I'll do is that I will create breakout groups with all of you. And what I will do is that I will allow attendees to switch groups. So when you go to the Google Doc Excel sheet, you would get to know the group 1, group 2, and there's 6 groups here. So you would be able to, and please, when I create group 1, group 2, group 3, and up to group 6 here in Blackboard, please refer to your group number in the Excel sheet, and you would have the opportunity to change your groups as well. So when I create breakout groups here, I have ticked that setting which says allow attendees to switch groups. So for example, when I'm creating the breakout groups, I'm going to randomly assign the students. So you have the opportunity to, like, for example, if you've been put into group 3 by Blackboard, you can go and join group 1 if you are in group 1. Okay, so it says how many groups? Yes, we have to create 6 groups. And what I will do is that I will join all of you. So what I want you to do is that each one of you has to brainstorm a different idea or research topic, and you might have a similar research topic to think about. Then against each topic that all of you have decided, like if there are 5 different topics and your group is based on 5 different group members, think about each topic and think about the pros and cons of each topic. And think about what is the basis for the topic. Is it a previous study? Is it your own personal experience or collective experience? Or is the topic based on personal assumptions, or is it based on observations? And then think about which field do the ideas belong to. Is it architecture design, interior design, landscape design, interactive design? Or is it related to design pedagogy or design practice? And then number 5, what benefit will occur in the design field to users, practitioners? So you have to identify the audience or the target group who's going to benefit from your research, right? And then also think about what contribution will your research make to the greater good of community, or a certain group of users or practitioners. We cannot solve the entire world's problem, but we can always, in our own way, make a small little contribution towards our class fellows. For example, you might say that how are students coping with the pressure of design assessments in the online studios. So what forms of teaching and learning support are they referring to during this pandemic? So you might want to go and interview your class fellows or ask them to fill out a survey, a Google survey, which could be anonymous, because Google surveys give you that opportunity that you just share the link and you collect the data, but you ask people not to put their names in the survey. So in that way, everyone's information stays confidential, and then people would be more willing to participate. But as opposed to if you go and say how are you coping with the pressure? I want to interview you. Somebody might not be comfortable talking to you about all of those issues. So it's just, being mindful of the topic that you want to choose. And then I'm going to share a Padlet link. I don't know, something happened with my PowerPoint. It's like the elements on the page have just dispersed. I'm sorry. So I'm sharing the link, a Padlet link with all of you. So based on your group number, please put in the 5 different topics that you have considered, and then in the end, the main research topic that you're choosing. And I'm going to give you 30 minutes of discussion for this activity. So today we're just looking at the research topic and finalizing the research topic. And then based on the research topic that we have chosen, we will go and look for literature that would then help us with our topics. And what I'll do is that I will be joining different groups, the 6 groups that we have today, and give you some feedback or answer your particular queries that you have. Okay, sounds like a plan, does it? I know it's been a lot of talking by me, but remember, this is just the beginning, and then after this week, we will have more group activities. Okay, so can you all use the raise hand tool and let me know if you're all ready for the group activity and you understand what the group activity is? Great. Yes, let's get started. And please make the most of this time that we have today so that once you leave the tutorial today, you have some idea about the research topic, and you're using this time together with me to your benefit. Okay, so I'm going to put you in breakout groups, and I've shared the Padlet link here with you. So can you all access the Padlet link? Have you clicked on it? Can you again use the raise hand tool and let me know? Yes? Okay, great. So now you know that you'll be going on to the Padlet, and you have to post your 5 ideas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the end, the major research topic that you have chosen after the entire group's consensus and discussion. Okay, I'm going to put you in breakout groups now. Let's get started. Research is going to contribute towards the field of design. So are there any implications or guidelines or best practices, methods that are going to emerge out of your research that can be applied by design practitioners or interior designers in home environments, and that integrate those principles of design psychology, and allow for the creation of interior environments and adaptation of interior environments in the face of such emergency situations. So whatever your research topic it is, it has to benefit the practice of design and the field of design and design knowledge. Okay.
Okay.
So you need to bring it back down to how it's going to help us. So for example, if you uncover something, how can other practitioners use that information to make better home environments? Okay, that can be ready for catering to such emergency situations in future. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Group
Okay,
6.
thank you.
You're welcome. Group 6, quickly. Group 6.
Yeah, so as we were discussing before, we kind of find very interesting on how the aspect of home office and productivity, and as well as narrative, trying to narrow everything down. We thought that is quite interesting comparing two types of population here in Brisbane in Australia, like single population and families, because the way that they will use the space during this pandemic will be completely different, and that will bring other opportunities for future designers to maybe improve space and make them more flexible, or because you're sharing, for example, your kitchen and living room, and it could be turned into your office. So how can different design strategies that are brought from other cultures, like Japan, for example, can be introduced into these aspects, and how would that affect the design industry in the long term, sort of thing, and how, for example, if design from working from home is the best option, will be the future? So will people start working from home forever, and how could designers improve this by design ergonomics, or improving chairs or desks, or the interior in general? That's the point that we're kind of at.
Okay, great. That's a really good, interesting research topic. Now, what I want all of you to do is that once you have finalized that research topic as your group, what you can do is that start looking into the literature, especially of the studies that have been done in the Australasian context. By that, I mean to say in Australia and New Zealand, and similar to your own research problem. I have a few different resources up here for all of you to look into. These are available through the QUT online library catalog. And these are some interesting books that can help you get started with research and research methods and practices, especially in the built environment, in landscape design, in fashion design, and interior design. So this book called Research Methodology in the Built Environment, a selection of case studies by Rian, Opoku, and Aziz is also interesting. Then integrating innovation in architecture, design methods, and technology. So these are different books. You can even take a screenshot of this. This information is also available on my
I'm sorry, Neymar, I can't hear you.
Oops, sorry. I was speaking to myself and the audio was muted. Sorry. So these are different books that you guys can use, and these are just a starting point. And if, for example, you're still struggling with choosing a research topic and selecting one, these books have some interesting ideas to look at. But please do not spend too much time on looking for a research topic. What I want you all to do is that before the next week's tutorial, use the same Padlet link, and under all of the specific topics that you have posted, put a new Padlet post with a topic under your respective group, and put in the entire statement or title for your research topic that you have chosen, right? And next week we will start working on the literature review based on the research topic that you have chosen as a research as a group. So please, we're not going to be spending any more time other than this week on choosing a research topic. So for next week, we will start straight away looking for the literature. I will guide you through that process as to how to look for literature, and then how to critically analyze and look for information in each of those research articles and put them together to come up with your own argument and to identify a research gap and to formulate a research question. Okay, so with this, I thank you all so much for joining me today. Any questions that you guys have so far? Any questions about the assignment? Yes, Isabel?
No, sorry. I was just going to say no.
Okay, all right. So if you guys have any questions, please raise your hands, use the chat to post your questions. And then this is all for today. I hope you had a great tutorial